Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now, as many of you may know, the amended bill to convert the decree law has now passed both the Senate and Chamber of Deputies, leaving just the President's signature before the final law is published and goes into effect, likely to happen in the next few days. My goal with this video is to bring you the most complete, legally verified update available right now, and to help you understand all of the options still available. Now, by the end of this video, I want you to have clarity on where you stand, what's still possible, and what your next move can be. And a quick reminder to like and subscribe and make sure you're alerted as new videos are released. And as always, I am not an Italian attorney and cannot give you legal advice. This breakdown of the new Italian citizenship law is based on our best understanding of the law as of today, May 22nd, 2025. Now, if you're feeling confused, frustrated, or even a little defeated by all of the recent changes to Italian citizenship law, well, you're not alone. Thousands of people around the world have spent years researching their ancestry, collecting documents, and planning their path toward Italian citizenship. But with the Tajani decree, Decree Law 36 of 2025, now virtually finalized, many are suddenly wondering, do I still qualify? Is there anything I can do? Is the door completely closed, or is there still a way in? Well, the truth is this law does change things, and in some cases dramatically, but it does not mean the journey is over. In this video, I'll walk you through who is still eligible for Italian citizenship and how, who is now blocked under the new rules, and what practical options are still available, even if the new law seems to shut you out, and how legal challenges already in motion could still reopen the door for many applicants. So let's get into it. Now, on May 20th, 2025, the Italian Chamber of Deputies approved the Senate's amended version without changes. More than 80 new amendments were proposed, but all were rejected. The law is most likely locked in its final form and is expected to be formally converted into law before the May 27th deadline, and possibly this week. So what does that mean for you? Now, first of all, we'll want to take a look at all of the possible paths of eligibility. Many people find themselves blocked from applying via the ancestor that they had intended, but could find that they qualify through an alternative line or ancestor. We're going to break this down into sections to make it as clear and easy to understand as possible, which is always my goal. Now, we'll start by looking at what the new law says about eligibility, and then we'll move into exploring options. Now, first up is Section 1, Am I Still Eligible? Now, according to the new law, you're still eligible under the old law if you submitted your application to an Italian consulate, municipality, or court, or you received an appointment confirmation or booking notice before March 28, 2025. Even if your appointment is in 2026 or later, what matters is the date the appointment was communicated to you and not the actual appointment date itself. Now, eligibility under the new law requires an Italian parent or grandparent who either is still alive and currently holds only Italian citizenship, or who was deceased but held only Italian citizenship at the time of their death. The final version of the law no longer allows claims based on the ancestor's citizenship status at the time of your birth. That provision was removed. So, if your parent or grandparent became a citizen of another country before they died and lost Italian citizenship, well, you're now blocked, even if they were still Italian when you were born. Now, it's also important to note that even if you've already become recognized as an Italian citizen, your adult children won't automatically qualify under the new law. They must meet the same requirements as any applicant. They'll need to have an Italian parent or grandparent who either is still alive and currently holds only Italian citizenship, or who is deceased but held only Italian citizenship at the time of their death. This means you would need to hold only Italian citizenship for your adult children to qualify directly through you. Now, next up is Section 2, and that covers who is blocked. Now, you are now excluded under the law if you didn't submit your application or receive an appointment confirmation by the March 27, 2025 deadline, or your parent or grandparent, the person you're claiming citizenship through, had another citizenship at the time of their death. Under the new law, they must have held only Italian citizenship at that time. Or your last Italian-born ancestor is a great-grandparent or more distant relative. The new rules limit recognition to those claiming through a parent or grandparent only. Now, in Section 3, let's take a look at the minor issue. Now, since October, most applicants have been rejected if an Italian parent in their line of ancestry lost citizenship before their child reached adulthood, a rule known as the minor issue. Now, this was never written into law, and it's still not a part of the new law either. There's no requirement in the new law that the parent must have kept Italian citizenship until the child reached adulthood. What matters now is whether the parent or grandparent held only Italian citizenship at the time of their death, or still does if they're still alive. So unfortunately, the minor issue is not so much fixed by the new laws as it is instead largely superseded by this new, even more restrictive requirement. Now, this is because in most cases, an ancestor who naturalized before 1992 will result in an ineligible line, except in rare cases where the ancestor renounced any other citizenships they may have held, keeping only their Italian citizenship. Now, in Section 4, we're looking at the impact of the new law on minors. Minor children may still be eligible for Italian citizenship under 3 different scenarios, depending on their age, the status of their parent, and when registration takes place. First, if your child is under 18 when the law takes effect, and you are recognized as an Italian citizen by descent or reacquisition, you can register your child through a simplified consular process. But this must be done by May 31st, 2026, and it doesn't matter if you're recognized before or after the law enters into force, as long as the child is still a minor and you complete the registration by that deadline. Second, if your child is born or adopted after the law takes effect, you can register them within 1 year of birth or adoption as long as you are already an Italian citizen at the time of the registration. And only one parent needs to hold Italian citizenship. And third, if the 1 year deadline is missed, your child can still qualify, but only if they live in Italy for 2 consecutive years. And in this scenario as well, only one parent needs to be an Italian citizen at the time of registration, and the child must still be under 18. Now, adopted children will follow the same rules, but the deadlines are calculated from the date of adoption rather than from the date of birth. These provisions give families a few important windows to work with, but they're very time sensitive, so it's important to act quickly if your child may qualify. Now we'll start looking at the options available under the new law. In Section 5, we'll take a look at reacquisition. Now, this is an option for people who once held recognized Italian citizenship. If you or your ancestor lost Italian citizenship by naturalizing in another country before August 15th of 1992, you can now reacquire it without a period of residency in Italy, which has been the requirement up until now. You'll need to submit a declaration at your local consulate between July 1st, 2025 and December 31st of 2027. Now, please note this does not apply to deceased ancestors. Reacquisition is only an option for yourself and your living ancestors. And in theory, though not necessarily a practical option for most, if your living parent or grandparent reacquires Italian citizenship and renounces any other citizenships, they could become a qualifying ancestor, potentially making you eligible under the new rules. Though again, this is not an exceptionally practical option, as it does require your ancestor to give up any other citizenships other than Italian citizenship. And please note that we can provide personalized guidance for those who need assistance reacquiring their lost Italian citizenship. In the next section, Section 6, we're going to take a look at residency path options. Now, these are options for obtaining Italian citizenship through residency as opposed to through descent. There are 2 options available here. First, there's a new 2-year residency path. If you're blocked under the new descent rules, but you have an Italian parent or grandparent, you can become a citizen through residency. This replaces the previous 3-year requirement. You'll need to legally reside in Italy for 2 years, register your residence with the local comune, and live in Italy most of the time, though short trips abroad are okay. And the second option is a work visa available without quota limits. Now, those who pursue the 2-year residency route will be eligible to apply for a work visa with no annual cap. Now, this exemption was added specifically to help descendants of Italian citizens navigate residency-based citizenship. An important clarification here that these paths are only available if your parent or grandparent was Italian. If your last Italian-born ancestor is a great-grandparent or more distant relative, the 2-year residency option and quota-free work visa does not apply under the current law. And with Section 7, we're going to move into taking a look at what you can do if you're blocked. There are a number of possible legal challenges which are being outlined and developed by some of the top Italian attorneys I've been working with. And of course, I'll continue to keep you updated on these options as they develop. And look out for a future video dedicated to this topic. And we'll talk a little bit more about overall legal and constitutional challenges in the next section. But in addition to direct challenges to the legality of the new law and its retroactive application, there are a couple of other pathways important for you to be aware of. First, there is the potential to petition the Italian courts due to lack of appointments. Now, if you were actively trying to apply before March 28, 2025, but couldn't get an appointment due to consular delays, a major issue for many people impacted by the new laws, you may have a legal case. Italian attorneys are already helping people file petitions arguing that the state's failure to make appointments available shouldn't result in the loss of your right to citizenship. And second, judicial petitions for 1948 cases are still a possible path forward. Now, if you have a female ancestor who passed Italian citizenship to their child before 1948, you may have a 1948 case. And these 1948 cases are constitutional in nature and fall outside of the normal administrative process. Attorneys have said that the new law likely does not override the long-standing court rulings supporting these claims. And an important note here, most Italian attorneys are extremely busy with the current caseload caused by the changing laws, and they may take a long time to respond. Now, you'll need to have your ancestry options all mapped out before an attorney can really review your case, and you'll typically need all of your documents, apostilles, and translations ready before they can file anything on your behalf. Here at Italian Dual Citizenship Assistance, we can help you understand your options, prepare your documents, and connect you with several of the top attorneys in Italy to handle your case when you're ready. Now, in Section 8, we'll take a look at coming legal challenges. Now, multiple legal challenges are already underway. One important example is a recent decision from Campobasso, which reaffirmed that citizenship by descent is a right acquired at birth and not something that can be denied later by consular availability or policy changes. That court found that long delays and appointment barriers at the consulates may violate fundamental rights and that people shouldn't lose their birthright simply because they couldn't get an appointment. Now, this reinforces the broader legal framework already being used by attorneys. Under the Italian Constitution, we have Article 3 on equality, Article 24 on the right to legal recourse, and Article 117 on compliance with international obligations. Under EU law, we have Article 20 of the Charter of Fundamental Rights on Citizenship of the Union, Article 21 on non-discrimination, and the right to good administration, especially relevant when applicants face multi-year appointment delays. And under Italian case law, courts have consistently ruled that citizenship by descent is a status you're born with, not a privilege that the state can revoke after the fact. So legal challenges are just getting started, and there's much more to come on this subject. Now, finally, here are my closing thoughts. Now, the decree is nearly law. In fact, it may already be by the time you watch this video, but your options are not yet closed. If you're still eligible, don't wait. Gather your documents and move forward. And if you're currently blocked, you still may have options. You may be able to petition the courts, you may be able to file a 1948 case, or use the new 2-year residency path. And I'm working with several top attorneys to keep you updated on additional pathways and legal challenges. Now, we'll all want to keep an eye on June 24th, and that's when Italy's Constitutional Court is expected to begin weighing in on Italian citizenship by descent, possibly reshaping parts of this new law. Now, if you want personalized help understanding your eligibility and your options moving forward, you can book a one-on-one consultation with me at ItalianDual.com. I can help you map out your best path forward and help you prepare for and connect you with several top Italian attorneys if pursuing a legal option makes sense for your case. You can book an affordable 20, 30, or 60-minute consultation with me at ItalianDual.com. And if you found this video helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. See you in the next video.